20th anniversary. Next Saturday, Venezuela will host the 24th Summit of Heads of States and Government of the Alliance. Let's learn more about its history in the following segment.
Hello. On December 14th, Caracas will be the epicenter of the 24th Summit of Heads of State and Government of the ALBA TCP. To know what this multilateral mechanism is all about, let's watch the following report.
ALBA TCP is a regional international organization founded in 2004 by the governments of Cuba and Venezuela to counter the free trade area of the Americas promoted by the United States. ALBA TCP currently enrolls Latin American and Caribbean countries with the firm objective of fighting poverty and social exclusion based on leftist ideological doctrines. This mechanism prioritizes equality and the common good in relations between nations by fostering regional dialogue, by identifying areas for strategic alliances, and by promoting consensus and agreement among Latin American nations.
The International Anti-Fascist Conference laid a fundamental proposal that all social movements worldwide should take ownership of the Bolivarian Alliance and its capabilities to strengthen their struggle to stop fascism forever.
I am here to tell you about an experience, about a reality that emerged 20 years ago. What is ALBA? It was suggested by Hugo Chavez, but who created it? Hugo Chavez and Fidel Castro, no less, that is to say, that ALBA has fostered initiatives that even today the BRICS regards as vanguard initiatives.
And on a day like this, it is fitting to remember a phrase of Commander Hugo Chavez. ALBA is a dream come true. It is the hope of our peoples. With this statement, Chavez expressed the hope that ALBA represented for Latin American and Caribbeans, as it offered an alternative to neoliberal models. And with the aim of building a new multipolar world, the leader of the Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro, stressed the importance of ALBA in its creation. He said that ALBA is an integration project born out of the need to build a fairer and more equitable world. Fidel Castro stressed the transformative nature of ALBA, which sought to overcome inequalities and build a new world order. Continue joining us in teleSUR English throughout this special week as we follow the ALBA TCP 24th Summit in Caracas.
Let's now go live with our correspondent in Caracas, Belén de los Santos, for all the latest in the run-up to this Saturday Summit of ALBA TCP Heads of States and Government. Hello, Belén.
Exactly, Luis. We are here in Caracas, and as we have been covering, this week marks 20 years from the creation of the ALBA integration mechanism, and we are in the house of ALBA today. And as we were saying, it's 20 years since the creation of the mechanism. This was created by Fidel Castro and Hugo Chavez in the year 2004. And it was intended to be and continues to be a mechanism that wanted to counteract or propose a new way, a new model of building solidarity opposed to the proposal of a free trade area for the Americas. So instead of a free trade area for the Americas that was rejected at the early 2000s, this mechanism, the ALBA, intends to build on solidarity, on cooperation, on an economic integration that is built towards the mutual benefit of all the member countries. So this was started by Venezuela and Cuba, then joined by Bolivia, and then many other partners and also associates nowadays. And this week is key here in Caracas. Today we are at one of the first events that is within the week. The main summit will take place on Friday and Saturday, specifically on Saturday with the heads of state and government here in Caracas that are coming here to celebrate this anniversary, this 24th summit. But today in the House of Alba, we have a gathering of the Alba youth. So youth representatives from all the different Alba countries have come here together, and what they are doing is they are representing and recreating a political council for the Alba. So this is really an activity to foster the internationalism, the cooperation among the youth of these countries, to model what really an exchange, a cooperation, a discussion among the Alba countries is like. Of course, Alba is not only thinking about the integration today and this week, as this has been happening during the week and during the year, but also it's thinking about the future. It's thinking about how this mechanism can be projected on the years to come. So the youth, of course, play a central role in this area. So that is what is happening inside. We are outside the premises of the House of Alba right at this second. And while the youth are discussing, sharing their views on a very complex geopolitical world nowadays, also there are part of diplomatic bodies that come from the Alba member countries who are observing the activity. They are looking and assessing and just taking in the activity that is being led by the youth as a model of how this cooperation mechanism works, has been working for the past 20 years and will continue to work. So this is one of the first activities in this week that celebrates the 24th Alba Summit, as we had been saying. And of course, tomorrow we will have more activities here in Caracas. Also, the social movements that are part of the Alba movement are also coming and gathering on Friday. Also, the foreign ministers are going to be gathering during this week, and the week will have its climax, its main point on Saturday, when the heads of state and government of these countries are going to come together, discuss the regional challenges and also all the possible roads for cooperation, for solidarity in this mechanism that really tries to show the world that there is a way for the countries to collaborate, to cooperate, and to grow, in which the economy is a means for the development of the peoples. So that is what this week is all about. We will continue to bring you all the information here from Caracas throughout the week. Today we are at the House of Alba, and now I go back to you, Luis.
Thank you, Belen, for the information. We'll stay tuned in upcoming news brief for everything that is happening today and throughout the week in the upcoming of the 21st Summit of the Heads of States of Government of Alba. Hello, you're watching teleSUR English. We go to Caracas, Venezuela in the framework of the celebration of the 20th anniversary of Alba TCP. Secretary General Jorge Arriaza offered an exclusive
Hello, studios. We continue here in Caracas in the House of Alba, as we were saying, and the activity that we have just witnessed was the recreation of a model of a political council of the Alba TCP. This was at the hands of the youngsters, the young men and women that are forming themselves to become and to possibly integrate the mechanism in the years to come. And we are joined by Executive Secretary of Alba TCP, Jorge Arriaza. Thank you, Jorge, for joining us. So just to begin with the analysis of today, how did you see the young men and women? What's the importance of these activities of formation, of education in the Alba principles and values?
Yes, this is the first model of Alba that has taken place here in Venezuela, I believe, in the world. And it's important because Alba is a different mechanism. It's about the union, not only integration, but the unity of our peoples, of our governments. It's about resistance against the hegemony of the countries that concentrate capital. And I believe that these youngsters, Venezuelan youngsters of several universities and several political parties, have done a great job because they could interpret perfectly the principles of ALBA, solidarity, cooperation, complementarity, and they were able to express it in a very good way. And I believe that this is the first one of thousands of models that we have to do, not only in Venezuela, but in all the countries of ALBA TCP, and that this is a way of educating our youngsters.
So one of the objectives of this model was to recreate an actual political council from ALBA TCP. What were some of the key issues that the young men and women addressed?
Well, they referred and they had their positions really firmly expressed against the coercive measures, unilateral coercive measures that the United States has imposed against Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and against more than 60 countries around the world, and the effects that these measures have had. For instance, the countries of the Caribbean that are not impacted directly by the measures, but they are suffering the impacts of the measures because Venezuela has been attacked with these measures, and we have not have enough oil production as to continue with the Petrocaribe program, and they are feeling also the effects of and the consequences of this. It was very clear. They also manifested their support to the Palestinian cause and people, and against the attacks that the Israeli state and the genocide that the Israeli state has done against the Palestinian people, and the principles of ALBA. Now that ALBA is reaching its first 20 years of existence, have also been honored by these youngsters.
Now, of course, this activity is within the week that marks the 20 years from the creation of ALBA in 2004. We have the 24th summit on Saturday. So what can you tell us? This summit comes in a very important and significant moment for the world and for the region in particular. What can we expect from this 24th ALBA summit?
20 years ago, not many leaders were talking about a multipolar world. They were all waiting for the power of the United States to impose everything in the world. But Hugo Chavez and Fidel Castro did. They knew this was coming. So ALBA was one of the first initiatives in the world that belongs to a multipolar world. And ALBA even had its own currency, its own bank. We had Petrocaribe for using energy to not to dominate but to liberate the peoples. And this is a very important moment because now the multipolar world exists. We have BRICS and we have the centers really clarified in the US, in Asia, China, Russia, Latin America, Africa. So this is the moment. And we have to resist all the attempts of the Western powers to stop this new world from being born. I believe it's born already, but from developing itself. So it's a really important moment, and I believe that the leadership of the presidents and prime ministers of ALBA is going to be reinforced next Saturday.
Of course, and one more question, Mr. Arreaza. We are in this transition period that you are saying, and definitely things are consolidating and being born. And this is not just a summit that gathers the governments and the heads of state, but also the movement, the social movements of Latin America and the region are coming together. Why is it important for the people, from the social movements, the organizations, to come together and join this unity with the governments as well?
It's really important. ALBA is, I believe, the only institution in the world, international institution, that in its structure, in the functioning structure, we have a council of social movements. And they have a word and a vote in the ALBA decisions. So they're going to meet here in this house tomorrow. More than 150 members of this Council of Social Movements from all over the world, not only the ALBA countries. They come, some of them come from the US, from Europe, from Africa, Asia, of course, Latin America, and the Caribbean. And they are going to analyze the moment that the world is going through, and they are going to make proposals to the governments of ALBA. maybe to elevate this, to raise them to the UN or to CELAC. They really have a world, and we are so happy that ALBA is in contact always with the peoples, not only with the elites that rule, with the elites that are in government, but especially with the peoples, the basis of the world.
Excellent. Can we expect some news, some announcement during this week for the region, for the world?
If I was a journalist, I would pay attention to the summit next Saturday. I would, yes.
We will definitely be paying closely attention to what is happening. Thank you so much, Jorge, for joining us. That was, of course, Secretary General of the ALBA TCP, Jorge Arreaza, from the House of ALBA. We have just witnessed a model with the young men and women that have participated, recreating a political council of ALBA TCP in the week that marks 20 years from the creation of the mechanism. We will continue to place close attention to everything that is happening this week and bring you all the information. Now we go back to you.
Thank you, Belen, and of course we'll stay tuned for everything that is happening during this week in Venezuela's Caracas in the run-up for this paramount Saturday Summit of ALBA TCP Heads of States and Government. For now, stay tuned with teleSUR English. We'll have more updates in upcoming news briefs. This year, ALBA's 20th anniversary. Next Saturday, Venezuela will host the 24th Summit of Heads of States and Government of the Alliance. Let's learn more about its history in the following segment.